Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Welcome to our launch of the book. And what I just want to explain to you the process in which this dramatisation came about. Untold asked me if I could possibly read through 16 stories. I read through 16 and put them into a play. And on one hand, that was it was good. It was useful. Well, I wouldn't say it was easy because it's easier to write something that you've already got rather than from scratch. On the other hand, it's 16 stories. It's a lot. And sometimes how you write in fiction is difficult to put onto the stage. Sometimes they're more descriptive. So one of the stories, in fact, Ahmed's story, we looked at it and thought, how on earth are we going to make this onto the stage? Because it's about a big ship. So we got, let me write, did I say right? Doull Hadisa Latifia School in East London. The boys, the Year 8 boys, did a stop frame animation film of Ahmed's film, book, story, and you'll see that as part of the drama. And 3 other stories, we've just taken scenes from some of these stories and put them into film from London East Academy. They're Year 9 students from London East Academy. But you'll see that as part of the drama. What we've done is, we thought, how are we going to link all these stories together? What's the through line? We're just going to have scene by scene. So, took the idea of, I went on a wonderful tour with Georgie, and I thought, well, why don't we use it as a tour guide who, is explaining some of these stories to a group of people who haven't got a clue about anything, about the East India Company, the human side of it. So that's the through line of the play. We have a tour guide who walks people through, and the students that are performing that are my students from 18 Marks House of Talent, bless them. As well as that, I have I think about 4 or 5 of the writers of the stories performing in the play as well. And some students of mine from Richmond University, and my son, and a few other volunteers. So it's a really eclectic group of people who've come together in a very short amount of time to put together, I think, quite a challenging piece. Because it needs to be entertaining, educational, and creative, and that's not easy. And so I'd just like you to give them a big round of applause before they've even started for all the hard work and effort that they've put into it.
Carrying silk, spices, and other wares.
So the company would bring trade from India to...
And China, South Africa, and especially right now known as Indonesia. Right. The trade route of the company is very vast. You have to remember that this went on for a good 250 years. It not only changed the countries the company traded with, but also the demographics of London as well as the East End.
How so? I mean, apart from the goods that they brought in.
See, here's the thing. The people of the East End were deeply affected by this. Some traded with the company, some worked for the company, some even went as far as going to India to live and work there, and other things.
Do you know any stories about these people in their lives? I mean, like you said, there's a lot on the web about the company, like the trade, the communications, the colonization of India, places. But what about real stories? Human stories? I can do with facts and figures, but I mean, rather boring stories.
I mean, I have heard of stories about love, greed, death, and even murder, all linked to the company in some way.
Can you link them to the location of the soul? Maybe that would jog your memory.
I will try, but it might not be accurate or even factual to the location.
Then don't get mad, I don't really care.
I'm just fascinated how these people lived and what they experienced in the KFC way.
Okay, so this right here is where Davy confronted Jack over money he owed him.
My name's Jack, and I'm a rope maker. This here rope is made from the strongest plant called hemp. I have a beautiful wife at home, Victoria, but we needed some money, and that's how I got into trouble with Davy Jones.
Davy, what have you done to my Jack?
You've got until tomorrow to give my money.
You'll have your money, I promise!
It's your last chance, Jack. I want my money.
Why didn't you tell me he was threatening you and asking you for more money?
He kept asking for more and more interest. He said he'd hurt you if I told you anything.
Well, how much do we have left?
Well, I bought the tickets to India, so not much after that. But I have a friend in the Navy that says the cost of living in India is much cheaper. And we've only got ourselves to take care of, so we'll be fine. Reducing pain.
One second.
Thank you.
Now listen, 2 drops on the tongue every 12. Now take, go, hurry up.
Take this. Okay, push. It's the stuff I make my ropes out of. Hemp.
What should we call her, Jack?
All about hemp.
How about I knock you out?
She's strong like her mother. I say we call her Victoria.
Oh, Jack.
In India, we call her Vijaya in the language of Sanskrit.
And so Jack and Victoria managed to make a new life with their daughter in the subcontinent.
Wow. They were so courageous. I mean, it must take a lot of bravery to overcome migration like that.
Yeah, but the same goes for those that came here from other countries. I mean, like you said, the Lascars had it hard working on the boats traveling to the UK, then getting to the docks with nowhere to stay or live.
I'll get to that in a moment. Let me tell you the story of Samuel Hudson, an 18-year-old boy who came to London.
Samuel, so like he was English then?
Yes, his father was a squire who worked for the East India Company and married into a vast fortune thanks to his mother's dowry. Sadly, his father died in a rogue elephant accident, apparently leaving them destitute to the company.
Apparently.
Yes, apparently. Many people who worked under the ELC and many people who died whilst employed for the company often had debts.
Wow, how convenient for the East India Company.
Yes, very convenient. Anyway, his mother soon remarried to a new gentleman, a childhood sweetheart of hers. Unfortunately for Samuel, his new stepfather did not have any time for him and made it plain he had come to rescue them out of poverty and disgrace. Soon after, his father shipped him off to England to meet his father's mother.
So this is London, eh? and better. Thank you for your help. You need to be more careful in these streets. It's very dangerous. Where are you going?
I'm going to Richmond. I need to meet my rich grandmother. She'll give me enough money to survive.
Sure, better. Let's go.
Samuel wasn't the only white person to have come to London from India. Have you heard the story of the blue-eyed girl?
No, I'm pretty sure you're going to tell us.
Well, see, her name was Mary Fay of Blackpool. Her so-called mother, Eliza Fay, also came to London. She began to open up a seminary for young ladies in Blackpool.
Wait, the so-called mother.
Well, this is the story of Mary Fay, also known as Pettitt.
Fresh herbs and spices. Fresh herbs and spices. Pick today. Come and get your fresh herbs and spices.
Hello, boy. How are you?
Ah, namaste, sir. Haven't seen you in these parts for a while now. Where have you been?
I've been traveling on the great ships of the company, helping my captain trade. How are you?
I'm fine. It's always good to see you safe and sound. I'm sure you've been up to many tales that you can tell us.
Don't we all, my friend, don't we all? How have you been doing?
I'm okay. I wake early in the morning. I go to my stall, trying to sell my wares. I go home to my family at night. Sometimes I don't even go home. It's so hard to earn just a few rupees.
I understand. Where's the old lady who used to sell eggs near your stall? The one with the beautiful daughter. Her assistant.
Who is this?
The young lady who was always at the stall when I'd come by.
Ah, you mean Sita?
Yes, that was her name. A pretty little thing.
Well, yes, but her beauty was more a curse than a blessing.
Why?
Well, Sita worked as a servant for Mr. and Mrs. Fay. Mr. Fay was a barrister. And for some unknown reason, after a while, she was accused of stealing. She was outcast. She was distraught and with childhood.
With child? I didn't know she was pregnant and married.
No, she was not.
I see.
She wasn't. But they had a daughter, a blue-eyed, pale-skinned girl. That was clearly her influence.
So what happened to them?
Well, Sita looked after her child, but she soon passed away, and then her mother looked after her daughter. And she too passed away as well. Very sad. Mrs. Fay came along and took the daughter to Britain with her.
The wife?
Yes, the wife. Yes, Mrs. Fay. Mrs. Fay, when she learned of Mr. Fay's indiscretion, then she divorced him almost immediately. It was here in this very spot that she learned that Mr. Fay had begot a child from Sita.
How so?
Well, Mrs. Fay was decided to go to the market after she had outcast Sita. Sita was there with her daughter. She took one look at the daughter and she lost what color she had left in her white skin. It was really distressing. It was clearly distressing. I almost felt sorry for her.
And she divorced her husband just for that? That's unusual. Most white men have BBs.
Well, not all women will condone it though. After Sita and her mother passed away, Mrs. Fay came and took the child away.
That's very kind of her, to take it as her own.
Yes, well, a blue-eyed, pale-skinned daughter like that is going to always work in her favor.
So much has happened since I came here last.
Well, my brother, it is always good to see you. Now let me pack up some food for you to take to your hometown.
Wow, this Eliza Fay lady was so strong. I mean, to actually divorce her husband and then look after his illegitimate daughter.
crap, but maybe she wouldn't have been so lucky she went by herself.
Yes, you're right. Now we need to move to the West India Quay and Museum of Documents.
That looks like a big ship.
The trade's increase was the biggest ship the company had in 1610.
What happened to it?
Well, the trade's increase under Captain Henry Wilton arrived in Batna on the Saturday, the 16th of March, 1613, from the island Paulu Panjang, and about 7 miles away from the main coast of Bantam.
Hear ye, hear ye. Come hear the tale of the biggest ship the world has ever seen.
I, King James I, christened this ship by the name of the trade's increase. May all who sail with her prosper.
In 1609, the trade's increase was the finest ship of the British Empire. The ship sailed under the command of Captain Middleton. As it navigated the oceans, it brought back to England precious cargoes of spices, tea, and silk. But after 4 years at sea, its luck ran out. Whilst the trade's increase awaits repairs, the captain and crew stay in the city of Bantam.
You don't look very well, Captain. Are you in good health this morning?
Not really. I've been feeling a bit unwell, but it's nothing to worry about. I'll be better in no time.
We are dining with the Sultan in the evening. Are you well enough to join us, sir?
Yes, of course I'll be joining you. I just need a good breakfast. I am honored to meet Your Excellency.
Captain Middleton, your ship is the biggest ship I have ever seen.
Your Excellency, it is the biggest ship ever built, and I am honored to be its first commander.
I would love to have a ship like that. And if our training continues, perhaps you can notify King James of my wish to have a ship of equal splendor.
Sir, I will inform His Majesty of your wish.
Let us speak. Early next morning, Captain Middleton and 3 of his men take a boat to check on the repairs to the train's increase.
Whoa! Man overboard! Steady! Steady!
Sir, I'm worried. I'm worried about careening the ship. I don't think it will be so stable on its side. The last 2 times we tried this, many sailors died. I believe that it's going to take many more months to fix it.
Mr. Pemberton, you have 1 month and no more. I must return to England.
This is not the first time that Captain Middleton has felt so sick.
I must return to England. I must return to England. I must return to England.
Sir, last night's rain and storms caused the ship to slide further down. I fear the ship can't be moved, sir.
Mr. Pemberton, take 100 men, tie ropes to the mast and move the ship.
They're dead.
The men. No. What have I done?
Just as it was clear that the trade's increase was beyond repair, it was also clear that the captain was dying. The captain saw his ship for the last time. Then he returned to Bantam. He never returned to England. On the 13th of May, 1614, he died.
The ship is hauled closely to the wind, and the sunlight dances in and out of the small starboard portholes lining the cabin sides. In and out, it throws into light and throws into darkness my face, the bangles on my wrists, the pink folds of the muslin around my shoulders. As the ship dips into the next wave, I'm once again invisible. Cresting the through, sails creaking, I come back to light. I am alone here in the captain's cabin. I have been for weeks. My sole accompaniment, the charts and maps that litter his tables, and at night, the captain himself, silent, brooding, menacing as the night wears on. In my pain, if my pain is obvious to him, he does not let on. Any sign of it in my face, or in the way I hold my arms crossed over my lap in defense, adds only to his desirous gaze, his need for me. He desires my body, the curvature of my feet, the arches delicately drawn into the suggestive folds of my muslin, the gleam of my hair, the softness of my posture. His thoughts are like coils of rope around my wrists, his desire shackles of iron. In the middle of the ocean, I am his alone, unarmed, unaided, still and frozen to his touch.
Stop!
Ahoy!
So, she was a painting, not a real baby then.
But what is a BB? The BB was an Indian mistress, a common law wife, a long-time consort of the Englishmen. Only those who could afford to set up a modest establishment, that is. There are stories of Englishmen marrying their BBs, but religion did get in the way. I do not of one tale though. Really? Yes, Robert and Ronnie. And this happened at a funeral.
The procession was led by a woman in a fiery red sari, her arms stacked with scarlet bracelets, her bare feet bloodied by the stones on the path, her unbound hair whipped round her face, and the chanting priests pushing her forward, pull her onto the pyre, dragging her half-inert form next to the body of her dead husband. They tie her feet with rough ropes that rasp against her skin. The same ropes are used to fasten her to the silk-swaddled corpse. The fetid stench of the corpse makes her gag, and the opium-clad stupor disengages my mind from my body. As I gaze down, I can see a wretched, semi-somnolent, crimson-clad form in one last unwilling embrace to my dead husband. And as the ropes rasp against my ankles, I realize I am that woman. I am that Sati. I am that virtuous woman, virtuous wife that burns with her dead husband to cleanse him of all sin. But he pulled me from the pyre. But only because his company rules permitted it. He believes my religion is steeped in superstition and priestly tyranny. But yet, still, he and his countrymen allow our women to burn, as long as it's done in accordance with the Hindu scriptures, which they supposedly scorn. Does he really believe that Sita had a choice but to cast herself into the flames when Rama doubted her fidelity? I wanted to show this benign and malignant, ignorant man that I could step outside of Sita's circle. "20 years on, he amassed enough to purchase a small estate at home. He hesitantly asked me to join him, unsure of my response. He left Calcutta's shores assured that he was leaving the lands under a more benevolent government than they had ever before enjoyed. Of me, though, he was never certain. He was asking me to leave these jewelled lands, jewelled colours, tropical warmth, familiar smells and subtle tastes. I could never give him the affection that he yearned, but he saved my life after all. My body could travel with him over the black waters. I owe him that much at least.
I love lamb curry and chicken curry. I don't really like vegetable curry, it's a bit
boring.
God forbid you might like some veg.
It's all boring.
Okay, so why don't we research when curry first came to this country?
That's easy. It's when the Indians first came here on the ships.
What ships?
The Eastern Indian Company. And then?
Okay. Where did you learn that?
Pirates of the Caribbean. When the East Indian Company tried to take what's his name? I don't even know
Well,
how to say
either way, you cannot write that in your research. It's not real research.
Why not? They do the research for this stuff as well, innit?
Well, you don't know what's real and what's made up.
Let me just Google this.
Yes, let's see what it
See? Told you. East India Company.
Oh, what's that?
The first curry recipe by a lady.
Ah, that's curious. I wonder who she was.
Madam. I wonder if you remember me. I'm Canadian Smith of Harrington, London. I'm in fact of the East India Company.
Sir, I could never forget you. Maggie, my darling daughter, Maggie, I finished the last chapter of my book.
Ah, madam. Your daughter was at the rear with my sister, trying her coming of age gown for the coming of age ball.
Please, sir, forgive me for not having noticed you there.
Oh, please, do not apologize. I should have made my presence felt. I believe congratulations are in order.
Oh, please. I dabble in a bit of writing, which is of no import. Just a hobby of a dressmaker.
Ah, would it be too much to ask what you write about?
I simply have written down some recipes that I've collected over the years. I just thought it would be useful for others to learn how to cook in a simpler fashion.
Oh, wow. Even I have a very big enthusiasm for food.
Please, sir, take a seat.
Thank you. May I see what you guys are about?
Can I share with you?
Wow, very nice. May I show you? May I share with you my thoughts?
Oh, please, do.
Mother, this is Ahmed.
I believe that everything is to your satisfaction here.
Oh, brother, the gown fits perfectly. I'll be the envy of all the other girls at the ball. But it looks like you two are having some spicy talk, I see.
Falling in with kindred spirits. She's after my own heart, and we've had the perfect conversation for food. But I'm afraid we now must beg our leave. But please, take these as a token of my gratitude.
Thank you, sir.
Shall we?
Sir, I could never forget you. What you've done for me that day changed my life forever.
It?
It did. We added this recipe to the book. The readers loved it, and the publishers loved it. It sold like hotcakes. It was hailed the first Indian recipe to ever be written.
Very any children in need.
Sir, no. You keep it. Please, as a token of my gratitude, as it's all I can really offer you.
You look devastated.
My daughter's unwell at the moment, and, well, we needed money to pay for her treatment. My most prized possession, the copyright of this book, it went up for auction this morning. Now, please, if you'll excuse me, I have to tend to my daughter. It was lovely to see you again.
So, why are we here?
So this is the stranger's home, otherwise known as the home for Asiatics, Africans, and South Island leaders, was located. The stranger's home was set up in 1855 as a joint initiative for Lieutenant Colonel R.M. Hughes, formerly of the East India Company, and Joseph Salter of the London City Mission. The financial backing came from the company. The home opened in 1857.
Wait, so this was like a home for the migrants?
Yeah, this is where the Lascars that were abandoned came.
And how about after the last then?
Well,
This is the place for your kind. You'll be back in a few days. These are the others.
Greetings, I am Anita of Majeda. My name is Chow. How did you come to this place? I was offered a job at the city, but only to find the end of my journey. No job was found. My story is similar to yours. I too sold for the job at the docks, but no job, only to be found by this blasphemous idiots.
Assalamu alaikum. بإضافة إلى ذلك اسمي أسود. أريد الطعام. أريد الطعام. أريد الطعام. Look at these foolish leaders. We give them good Christian title and they do not even appreciate it. What did you say? I am no heathen. My God is good. How dare you?
What? Yeah, Puerto Rico?
Astaghfirullah.
in that moment, Al-Qaeda became aware of the dark side of the London charity. That's the message. Well, that's the part where we contribute to history. So this is the part where you contribute to the history of the EIC.
What if there's not much information?
Then you make it up.
I'm fascinated by the tales of Ali Khan.
But wasn't his reign a little before the company?
Yes, for his grandson, Siraj al-Dawla, was the last reward to reign before the East Indian Company took over. There's also a tale how Ali Khan was almost betrayed and killed by his brother-in-law, Mir Jafar Ali.
Really?
Do tell.
Karin, what are you doing? How about Anita? I squeezed this fresh milk myself, and just before the party, I added some pistachio to it. Just the way you like it. we both know the rumors are false. But I'm sorry, brother. I was unable to find Mir Habib and Afghans from Midnapore and Orissa.
Ali, I forgive you. I never believed the rumors anyway. If I myself could get rid of Mir Habib, I don't hold you responsible.
Stop! This is my husband, Ali. This is my brother, Alavadi. I have recently discovered that my husband is not what he seems. I have found a letter in my husband's room written in his hand. Dear Amala, I am writing this letter for you because I want to plan a feast as a way of apologizing and acknowledging my mistake. The guest of honor will be our dear brother, Nawab Alavadi. I understand why Alavadi dismissed me. He has many worries, as his... forget it. Arrange dinner plans with him at a time around 8 p.m. because that is his everyday routine every night. He likes drinking milk. Make sure that is there. I remember the disaster that happened last time servants forgot. Thing is, I know he's fussy when he eats. I want a mix of people at the dinner. No one with poison mind. Good people in the dinner. Coriander with the food because that is his favorite. You are in charge. Will you handle everything? Get this done, please. The pressure is on. Reminder to yourself that of all parties thrown, yours should be the best. Payment is no problem. After all, your brother, the ever victorious, is Nawab, ruler of Bengal. Is it clear? The dead should regret missing this party. M.J. Ali. I noticed that the first misspelt word of the letter was for, and that didn't make any sense because my husband's grammar is perfect. I began underlining every fourth word of the letter, and upon rereading it, this revealed my husband's plan. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't go against my husband. It was too late. And I didn't know what to do. But I came up with a plan. Alavadi, why don't you give the freshly squeezed milk to Ali? If you truly forgive him, you will give your milk to Ali.
Amala, I think you should feed your husband Ali the first sip.
Drink the milk, my love. I know you freshly squeezed it this morning, and I know it will be delicious because I know what you're capable of.
You're right, Amala. The drink was truly delicious. I thank you for feeding yourself. It made the drink even more special. Why are you sleeping here, Mother? I miss your presence in our room. I think it's so romantic when you spend your hands in front of everyone today. Can I ask you something? Why did you want me to drink milk? And after I finished, why did you look so shocked? Oh no. You want to drink some yourself, didn't you? The thing is, it was such a delicious milk. Why do you look so afraid? It's me, Ali, your husband. I think finally you know what I'm capable of. And I'm willing to live with that. You think there was something wrong with the milk, did you? You couldn't have. Otherwise, you wouldn't have suggested me to drink it. And I think you know what I'm capable of.
You should also know that.
You should also know that I'll always be one step ahead of you. You are a woman after all. Miran is my son. He acts as my eyes and ears when I'm not around. He overheard your conversation last week with the maid servant. He brought me back the letter, and the evidence has been closed. You women are no match to us males. But I realize something, you know. Brother Dudley has done so much for me. I need him. His support and his contacts. I can't let anything happen to him. For now, anyway. By the way, I think what he did today was very brave. But I think you should remember whom you're dealing with. And that is Mir Jafar Ali Khan.
Very impressive. Did that really happen? Who knows? Well, now that we're on the topic of Noah, I have a tale to tell you. It's the story of Noah Kamran.
Who?
Well, Kamran was a selfish, foolish man-child who thought he could do and have everything he wanted. You see, he was so arrogant and so full of self-satisfaction that he even went and kidnapped Ilakshi, the daughter of the Raja Zamindari, who were basically the royalty at that time because they were rich landowners.
Why have you captured Ilakshi?
She is a great fighter, yes. It took our troops over an hour to defeat her and her well-trained warriors. I found it quite a pleasure fighting with her. You see, she may look innocent and fragile, but she has immense strength and a fighting spirit to resist any man. A lot of our soldiers were injured in that battle. At first I only admired her for her beauty, but now I'm mesmerized by her talent.
It's political madness to capture the daughter of Raja Zamindari.
Why are you so bothered by it?
I recall the incident when I was walking by the forest one day with my troops after a long day of hunting. Lost in my thoughts, I failed to realize that I lagged far behind my troops. My thoughts were soon invaded by the loud call of a peacock. I jumped off my horse and I strode towards the forest in search of the call. I didn't need to walk far, as a radiant moving object between the bushes caught my eyes. I looked on in shock at a magnificent white peacock wandering around, displaying its enormous pearlescent feathers. But it didn't last long. Something distracted the bird and it flew away. As I rushed behind the bushes in search of the bird, I saw a big white snowflake drifting from the air towards me. But it wasn't a snowflake. It was a beautiful white feather. Suddenly, I heard breaking of twigs and two men with half-veiled faces stood before me. And I was also aware of the presence of a third person behind me. The person behind me pushed me to the ground and they robbed me of my jewels. Then as they were preparing to strike me, suddenly I saw a young girl with a stick in her hand in an attacking mode. And when the acolytes attacked her, their sticks clashed heavily. He fell in the air. She then strode towards him and attacked the second acolyte. Then as she appeared in front of me, I was enraptured. Moving her gaze away from my hand, she pulled her attention to my hand holding my secret feather tight. Embarrassed, I extended the feather and almost silently saying, "Thank you." Let me make a deal with you. I'll help you find the East India Company man if you release Ilakshi.
Really? Do you swear it?
Upon my honor, I swear to it.
Fine, release her. I need you more than I need her.
You're free now, Ilakshi. Free to return to your mother and your palace. I may not see you again. I've decided to assist Kamran against the Firangi. You may not like my decision, like your mother, but I don't have many options. I know I'm not like the princes who would like to fight for wealth and glory, but I still have to assist Canan against the East India Company. I'm not made for war and glory. This is all I have for you. All my thoughts are imprisoned here. I wanted to tell you for a long time. But I did not know where you were. And I don't know if I'll ever see you again. Before you leave, I'd like to know if I were coming to your thoughts. If so, would you wait for my return? I have lost everything, including my stakes, to the East India Company.
And what about Nawab Kamran?
Nawab Kamran and his allies have been killed in the second day of the battle. Sadly, Kamran would not know that his death was caused by his own closest ally, whom he trusted the most, Muhammad Amir, who betrayed him for the sake of 30,000 rupees from the East India Company. I thank you for your hospitality. May I ask you how Inakshi is faring since her release?
Inakshi has not come home since her release.
How can this be?
Oh, I am so worried about her. I have looked everywhere for her. My heart is breaking with fear of her death. I'm fearful for her life.
I vow to you. I'll go in search of her, for as long as it takes. I shall not return back to the palace until I've found her.
Excuse me. Can you help me, please?
Certainly.
I need to get home before sunset. Would you perhaps help me with my bag?
Where did it?
Oh, at the end of the forest.
What do you intend to do with all these branches and leaves
It's
from the forest?
medicine. I need to give it to her immediately.
Who? Your daughter?
No, not my daughter. She is like a daughter to me. Poor girl, she lost her hearing at a very young age. But it did not stop her becoming a master of archery. She used to come to my husband every day to learn archery. Oh, she was a master swordswoman as well. I do not know who dared to cause her such harm.
Who was her father?
Well, Divaj, the commander-in-chief of Ria Zaminda.
You mean Divaj's daughter?
The poor girl, she is in such pain. Oh, I think she is gone.
Inakshi. It is every day's waiting. I'm sure you'll be coming. But when is a matter of question? Can I see you again before my departure?
That is so sad.
It happened a lot though. You hear about stories of betrayal of imams and their people. I know the story that involves betrayal by a prime minister.
Whoa, that's a politician's for you.
And Prince of Paul was a weak man with a badge on the character.
My emperor, you must leave this place at once. Their army is coming for you. There's traitors and spies everywhere.
No, you must stay here and protect the kingdom. After all the army has done, no, you must stay.
You're one of them!
Guards! You have tried to attack my minister. I will not leave.
But,
No but! We leave this kingdom by dusk.
I will leave, but you have made a mistake.
I surrender.
And General Hudson's offer?
Yes, I accept General Hudson's offer of an escort back to Delhi.
You have made the right decision, Emperor.
you stories of intriguing murder.
Sounds fascinating.
Well, it was initially given to the maid of the house.
Madam, I found this on the floor of your husband's room.
My husband's room.
Yes, madam.
Thank you, Elizabeth. You may go now. Oh, Lionel Widgewood, what have you been writing? A letter? I didn't know my husband could write so much. January the 18th, 1860. A few days ago. Well, Lionel, let's have a look and see what you've been writing. Oh, he's writing to Walter. I don't know who Walter is. Oh, probably some boring, pompous friend of his from the East India Company, no doubt. Oh, let's have a look. To my dearest Walter, you have asked on many occasions this past year for a contribution to your collection of curious reminiscences of the good old days of the Honourable John Company. That's another name for the East India Company. But, as you know, I avoided the issue when you raised it, reluctant to share any stories or even discuss my past life in India. Well, that doesn't sound like my husband, Wingwood by name, Windbag by nature. Perhaps you have wondered why a high-ranking officer such as myself was not proud of what he achieved. Maybe you thought I had no stories to tell or that my memory was failing me. In truth, there is a box in my mind full of such dark memories that I have not dared open it for fear of what I might unleash. Oh, good old Lionel. I believe that now is the right time to open that box. My body weakens where my mind remains strong, and I do not wish to go to my Redeemer burdened with guilt. Thus I write to you with my reminiscences of the good old days of some 40 years ago. I think it unlikely you will deem my tale fit for inclusion in your book, but you are after the curious, and this story is indeed curious, although perhaps not as humorous as you might wish for. My story begins one morning in Delhi. I have written
Lieutenant Windward.
Yes, what is it?
Sir, it is with regret I have to report. I have once again come across Said Kalu, beaten and distressed, but this time the beating was more savage and the circumstances more strange and unacceptable. I trust you to dispatch the letter when first reading. Come, tell the lieutenant what happened.
I was told to go to my captain, Salih, who wished to pay my wages. I was full of trepidation as a hand pulled me inside the room and shut the door behind me. I looked inside the room. It was my captain, Captain Burley. He was there, reading and smoking a hookah. He looked up at me. Then he just carried on reading. I then noticed that it was, my hand was twisted by my back, and it was Lieutenant Chadwick that was twisting my hand. A good friend of my master from the regiment. And then there was Lieutenant. There was Lieutenant Fitzgerald. The gentleman who beat me the day before.
Lieutenant Villiers.
Lieutenant Villiers, who beat me to the floor the previous day. He pulled around me. He pulled off my body. And then he beat me. He picked up a buggy whip and beat me as hard as he could. In my dazed state, I picked myself up, and I could hear Lieutenant Chadwick telling me to stop. He did as he bid. And with one last attempt, he kicked me to the ground with his boot and told me, "Go and complain to your masters." Lieutenant Chadwick was staggered against the wall. I managed to pull myself up to my feet and wrap the hockey around me again. I met General Fitzgerald on the road.
I have dealt with the vicious beatings. There was a court of inquiry, and Villa was transported back to Europe, and now this matter has ended.
I'm not drunk. I'm not allowed to consume alcohol, says the doctors. But if I return home like this, I will be ashamed. I hear voices at night.
Is Burling mad to challenge me to a duel, especially after what happened with Salih? Is he mad?
A duel? A duel? How could Cousin Burling challenge Fitzgerald to a duel when I have fixed the matter in a satisfactory manner?
Chadwick's escaped?
Send out a search party immediately.
Chadwick!
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 Who could have done this? Who could have killed Burling in such a vicious manner?
Was it Salih with a legion of family horses? Was it he who conjured a cunning idea to stampede Captain Burling to death?
Could it have been Chadwick, petrified that they were going to send him back home under the influence of alcohol, fed to him by this man?
Was it the shy and gentle Villiers, turned rampant flogger, friendless until Burling took him under his wing? Who knows what bribery and misconversions took place to turn him into a scapegoat?
Captain Fitzgerald, hot-headed and moralistic.
Doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing?
Who murdered Burling?
Who murdered Burling? Who indeed?
Yes.
I've got a tale to tell. It's also about murder and justice. Two brothers and a family worker they sit in front of a fire after their brother's return. The two brothers have returned after being away for 2 years, and they tell them what happened.
Where have you been? Your mother's been so worried.
can I tell you? They punished him, and for that I'm not going to let them escape from it. I'll hold them to justice.
Oh my, but who was it?
Eastern Bengal, where?
I know what it says. Choo.
Oh, stop being so childish.
Shahid, Radha is my little boy, and so are you. Shahid, promise me one thing. If anything were to happen to me, you will take care of the family.
Yes, Father, I promise.
That's my bedtime. Don't worry, my sons, everything will be okay, inshallah. Stop it, you rascals!
Ha! Look who we have here.
Ah, the great Qualam took your eyes, Salih.
I told you you had to pay one day of rent.
Inshallah, safe. Remember the promise. Yes, Father. Sardars took us away and confined us to a plantation. They locked us away for 3 days. They forced us to sign a 5-year contract to work on this plantation, ceremonial area. They forced us, they slaved us. It was 2 years before we could escape, and we managed to get out somehow. I don't know how.
Thank you so much for this wonderful day. I think I've learned so much about the East India Company and the way it affected the people involved in the company.
Yeah, more than I could really read the book. It was fascinating.
Yeah, what was the kind of money?
Thank you for including me in the making of the story for this too.
And thank you all for participating.